Hi, this is Stephen Beschloss with America, America.
And I'm Mark Jacob with the Stop the Presses newsletter.
And this is On Target.
Hi, today we're going to talk about uh, kind of the alarming attempt by the incoming Trump administration to assemble more power to the presidency at the expense of other branches of government. I mean, we've got a great system here where there's a balance of power and checks and balances, and if you lose that, that's how you get to a dictatorship. And we in this video series, we like to highlight strong journalism that's going to maybe help us, the public, be aware of things. There was a good story in ProPublica that headlined "How Trump Plans to Seize the Power of the Purse from Congress." It's about how Trump and his kind of legal maneuverers, the people who are developing strategy for him, are really pushing for him to impose something called impoundment, which is a kind of a controversial legal strategy in which you could simply decide that just because Congress appropriated something doesn't mean that you have to spend it or do it. And this in effect, if he's got like veto power over Congress's ability to spend money, we're all in a big heap of trouble, Stephen.
Right, you are. And, look, ProPublica, I just want to say right off the bat, I mean, it makes the point that it investigates abuses of power. That's been its track record. That's what it does. It's what it's doing with this. It's why it's one of those outlets we want to make a point of highlighting. And this particular power or this particular effort to use impoundment, it sounds like something that's very arcane, makes people's eyes glaze over when you start talking about the appropriation of funds and so on of Congress. But it's important not to underestimate how significant this particular effort is. And, there's a reason why Donald Trump put Russell Vought into the position of director of the Office of Management and Budget. I mean, this is a guy who's a chief architect of Project 2025. Vought is somebody who has specifically said he's committed to the dismantling of the deep state. Trump has said, he wants to use these strategies to obliterate the deep state. These guys are serious. Vought has also said, and it's in this article. Vought has also said that they've been setting up. This goes back now more than a year, a so-called shadow office of legal counsel, where they've been developing a set of strategies so that more or less on day one, they're already going to have justifications for these efforts to, in this case, strip away the bedrock power of Congress, which is to appropriate funds, by saying that the president has the power to usurp Congress's authority. So if they're successful in this case, it's not only that it can affect very specific programs that Congress has appropriated funds for, it's going to be part of the larger strategy that Trump and his minions are going to pursue to go after perceived enemies.
Right. This is a way in which they can, reward their friends and punish their enemies and set up this kind of pay-to-play government. And there are other ways it's trying to erode the power of Congress too. This whole thing with these recess appointments, which is trying to push to where it
Right.
wouldn't have hearings or votes for members of Trump's cabinet to be approved. And that's a really dangerous thing. If he can pressure the Republicans in Congress to give up their power under the Constitution, we're in a really bad place. And Stephen, it should also, I think, be remembered that the Supreme Court gave Trump presidential immunity just earlier this year, any president, but of course Biden wouldn't abuse it the way Trump may well abuse it. And that in itself really ratchets up the power of a president in a scary way, in my opinion. And
Right.
so that's why outlets like ProPublica need to be paying attention to every step Trump takes to amass more power.
Right, and look, I focused on Russell Vought, but let's be clear. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. They were in an op-ed in the New York Times. They were also sort of underscoring the ability to use a strategy like this to be able to do the massive, I would say, draconian cutting that they have in mind to cut as much as a third of the federal budget. For good, no, but for ill, to increase their own power, for sure. So, again, the abuse of power, this is going to be ongoing. The White House is going to be a place of corruption and crime, in my book, in the coming years. It's pretty clear that we need organizations like ProPublica. And let me just add one other point about this moment. It's not just that they're pursuing this strategy now. You can go back to the first term of Trump. And again, the article makes this point. The effort to withhold $400 million from Ukraine if Zelensky did not pursue an investigation of the Biden family. Well, that was one of the ways he was essentially trying to impound Congress's
Right.
appropriation.
Right.
Likewise, wildfires in California, for example. Well, he didn't want to release the funds for disaster relief, so because the Californians didn't vote for him. So we have to really pay attention to some of these very specific, and in some cases, they might seem a little dull or somehow maybe not so important. But that's why we need organizations, media entities like ProPublica, and I hope many others who are looking closely at these actions and not just looking at them as an expression of a specific discrete action or strategy, but part of this larger effort to try to amass executive branch power.
Yeah. Well, I think that says it all.
Thank you, Mark.
See you next time.
See you next time.